de loin. Une petite île qui s'appelle Uma.
Hey everybody, Bloodworth here. I talked with Damiani about this game before, and now I got Brad here to talk about Tchia, Tchia. If you're just hearing about this for the first time, before I kind of got like some developer walkthrough, hands off. Now I actually got a chance to play for a couple of hours. I could have kept playing because they just kind of gave me free reign over like a third of the map, so it's pretty cool. But if you're not familiar with this game, it's coming early this year. They still don't have a date pinned down yet, but it's coming to PC, PS4, PS5. And I played a preview build on the PC that starts after the intro.
Okay.
So I still don't know a lot about
the setup
and the story and how you get your powers or whatever. But you're playing as Tchia, this girl whose father has been kidnapped. And so you're out to save your father.
Okay.
But the way that this game is set up, well, for one, it's from a very small team of like 9 developers, two leads are from this island called, not just one island, but it's an island country called New Caledonia.
Okay.
And so this is a fantasy world, but a lot of it is inspired and pays tribute. So like they actually have some kind of like behind the scenes docs they're putting up right now where like they're showing like comparisons to like rock formations like in the real world versus in the game, and like a lot of the animals and cultures and folklore and like even the language. When you're playing the game, you hear this mix of the local Drehu language as well as French, because the French have been there as well, and so there's that influence. But it's kind of like if you mix together like Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker.
Okay.
So it's like you've got like kind of this open map to kind of go wherever you want and find objectives and stuff like that. But then you've also got the ocean and sailing in there, and you've got like kind of the musical aspect of it. So you have a ukulele.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, and so you have these music mini games where you play the ukulele to go with the song, but you can also bring it up to essentially like do like music-based spells.
Cool.
So there's like a point where I actually found like this thing where you like do like it's like Jenga where you like stack the rocks, and you kind of had to like tilt and stack the rocks up. And then once I completed the tower, I got a new song, which allowed me to have like an air bubble so that I could stay underwater longer.
Whoa, you could swim in this?
Yeah.
Blood, that's more than Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And not only that, now the other, like the big, like, defining kind of hook is that in this game, you can, like, soul jump into animals and objects and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So
like a bird, you can turn into a bird.
It's very important to like soul jump into a bird, and then you can kind of like fly over the mountain to get to somewhere more quickly.
If you soul jump, Blood, does your body stay there?
No.
Okay, so your whole body goes
you jump in and you jump out.
Okay.
So, and that's actually a mechanic. I got a couple of clips in there that I was messing around with later, but like with like rocks and coconuts or things that you can possess as well.
Cool.
And so you can kind of like throw the rock, like you get into the rock, kind of throw the rock, which jumps you out of it, but then you jump back into it and take the momentum.
Cool.
To kind of get across part of the map more quickly.
That sounds cool. I like that.
Yeah. And then you can like soul jump into, seems like just about any kind of animal. I didn't see an animal that I can't soul jump into. So I was like soul jumping into centipedes, soul jumping into locusts, soul jumping into dolphins and turtles and fish. But then you can also soul jump into inanimate things like the rocks, and like I actually used a rock at one point to like go underwater, so I didn't have to worry about my breath meter before I got the breath spell.
Smart, Blood.
Because you have like a meter, so like you have a stamina meter, like Breath of the Wild, but then you also have that soul meter. Which,
if you're like climbing or something, you have like a stamina meter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you also have a glider, like the Breath of the Wild / Wind Waker type glider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess, Blood, when you said Breath of the Wild to me, I immediately thought, well, there's probably a lot of traversal and a lot of creativity how you want to do that. So you mentioned that you can climb, and there's like the glider kind of thing. Is there anything else that really stood out to you?
The other thing that's definitely very unique to this game is that you can use trees kind of like springs.
Oh.
So you climb into the top of a tree, and then you kind of like wiggle the tree back and forth, and then like you let go at the right time, and you get that momentum, and then you can use your glider.
Love that.
As far as I can tell, they didn't do anything that Breath of the Wild does in terms of like lifting it up over a campfire or something. But campfires are littered all around the island, and so those are spots that you can kind of go in, and you can change your outfits because there's a lot of customization that you can do with your character, and so like you're just unlocking like
tons of stuff,
little dresses and armbands and masks and things like that. But you can also rest there, and the campfires, as well as like some other like food stations that the villagers and stuff have, I think allows you to get like another bar on your soul meter temporarily. But it's neat because, like I was saying, like all this stuff that's inspired by New Caledonia is like you kind of see like food from New Caledonia as well.
That's cool.
And there's a part in the little bit of story that I got early on where you're having this conversation with this girl while like rolling up these things that like they look kind of like egg rolls. And so you kind of like put your stuff on the tortilla looking thing, and then like fold this up, fold that up, and then put it into the thing to fry it up.
Yeah. So like, tell me some of the stuff you're doing in this world, like where you're trying to go, what are you trying to do, and with all these powers you got.
Yeah. So the one thing that they introduce in this part of the preview is there's this villager with a shotgun. She just blasts her shotgun off. It's like, oh my gosh. And you need her to help with something, and she says, "Get me a crab, and we'll talk."
Okay.
And so you've got to go out and look for a crab, get a crab in your pouch, and then bring it back to her. And then later on, as I think her daughter is the girl that you talk to or whatever. And then for whatever reason, you need to get like a dead chicken. And like this is the kind of thing to like freak like city people out that haven't been around like farm life and stuff. Because well, first, before you could do that, the girl kind of goes to the other side of the island. You kind of hang out with her a little bit and play one of the music sections. But when you come back to the village, it's like, oh, you need a dead chicken, right? Yeah. And then she just like takes a knife and chops its head off, and then they just have this joke where like the chicken's just standing there headless, but it's still like animating, like it's like pecking the ground, like blood spurting out. And then you get the chicken.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I kind of I bounced across, I came across, I forget where I got the first one. Maybe it was from the woman, but I got a treasure map.
Okay. I
and
like
so maps. So you've got your like overall map of the island, but you can pull up the treasure map, and so you can kind of see it's like, okay, it's over here, and it's by this rock formation or whatever, and then this is where it is, and then that led to another treasure map and another treasure map and another treasure. So it's like I'm just kind of like following the trail of these treasure maps, but seeing like cool things along the way, going to caves.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So you're on this island. Is it designed well enough where you see stuff and you're like, man, I really want to check that out?
Yeah, the topography in itself is, I think, really good, and like you see like this gigantic tree in the middle of the island at one point, and they even in the documentary thing, like they point out that like it doesn't necessarily fit like your typical like assumption of like what a tropical island or whatever would look like. There's just like a lot of different biomes in a very small space. And so the environment changes up pretty quickly with the different types of trees and that kind of thing, which is nice. I followed the treasure maps to this spot where there was like it was like a sinkhole kind of thing. There's a big opening in the ground, and then like a little pool of water with an island in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get down there, and that's where the chest is. But then the chest is chained up.
Ooh.
And I'm like, okay, well, what do I got to do? And then I look at my treasure map again, and I see like they've got like a little drawing of a crab. I was like, oh, I've got to find a crab.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where I got the rock, and it was like going through this cave, like because I went underwater, and there was a cave underwater, and then I found a crab, and I brought the crab. So that's the interesting thing is like you can put the crab in your backpack, and then you can pull it out, and then you can possess it.
That's funny.
And then you use its pincers to like snap the chains off.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I followed the treasures until I got one that was like clearly on the other island, and the draw distance in this like lets you see so far that I thought like, oh, it's not that far away. I'll just swim over there. And like 5 minutes later, I'm like, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
I cannot swim this far. And it ended up being beyond the bounds of the preview build, anyways. So I ended up going back and just exploring some other areas.
Cool.
There are not a lot of enemies in the game, but there are some. There are these like fabric things. And again, I missed the opening, so I don't know why they're like these crazy like
fabric monsters
with like piles of fabric and stuff. But you burn them.
Oh.
And so there would be like oil lamps or whatever, and you can possess the oil lamp and kind of like roll it over to them or the pile of fabric and like explode it. Or you have a slingshot too, and so you can like slingshot the lamps from afar.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's like a slingshot minigame somewhere in the game too that I haven't.
Okay.
I saw it in the videos, but I haven't seen it wherever it is in the game. But there's also, at first I was like concerned that there wouldn't be any fast travel, but you fast travel from the docks. So you find docks at different villages, and there you can customize your boat and like change everything. You can change like the material that the raft is made out of. You can change the flag. You can change all these little bits. But then each dock that you go to unlocks as a fast travel point as well. So you can just fast travel from dock to dock and then hop in your boat and go wherever.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Just sailing around, finding cool little treasure chests.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Possessing a boar or
deer. That's all good
yeah.
stuff. All fun.
Yeah, and when you use an ability like a sprint or something that like wears down your soul meter faster, so it's kind of like figuring out like
when to use
exactly what you want to do, what you want to use, and I'm sure there's like a lot of little bits to discover because like I could dig with the boar, but like what do I need to dig? I haven't seen anything I need to dig.
Were there
yet.
monkeys or gorillas?
No.
Damn.
I don't think they have any of that there.
Okay.
But
just checking.
Yeah, I would say like in terms of stuff that I hope they work on, like some of the UI is a little weird and clunky in parts. Like I was just like having a hard time like just like figuring out how to work with the map, and it's like for some reason it's like they don't want to show you exactly where you are. So you can put a thumbtack for a destination, and then you can like look at the compass to like follow where that thumbtack is. But if you look at the map and you say like, okay, show where I am, it'll just like put like this circle around this gigantic area. It's like you're somewhere in there. Okay, thanks. And there's some other little things like that I was just like, just trying to figure out. Oh, the music minigame, because it's like a circle with like a lot of things.
Yeah.
When the song's slower, it's cool. But the first one I did, the song was like super fast, and I'm like, I'm just failing this thing like crazy, and it was like hard for me to tell like, did I hit the note right or did I fail the note? Oh. So so again, I was like, hopefully like some of these like little
just cleaned up
interface things will be cleaned up a little bit.
Cool.
But cool game, fun game.
Yeah, looks very nice.
Yeah, and hope to see more whenever they. Oh, I did a boat race.
Okay.
Went around a little track and tried to get through it as fast as I can. And then there are like almost like kind of Assassin's Creed style like lookout points.
Oh, okay. They'll reveal more of the map or something?
Yeah, I think they reveal some points of interest and that kind of thing. There was one of the songs let me summon like a bomb fruit.
Ooh.
So I could like bomb open like a hole, like a cave, like Zelda.
Okay.
So,
cool.
And those do have a cooldown too. So it was funny. I had a song where I could summon a bird, and I summoned it, and it immediately flew away. I'm like, no, okay. And I gotta wait a minute before I can use this song again. So I guess I'll find a different bird. But yeah, cute, cool little game. Just the vibes of like being out in the wilderness are really different than being in town too. Because like in the wilderness, like you hear more of the environment and like
birds chirping.
Birds and bugs and stuff. And then when you come into a town, then it just starts playing music. And it seems like the music might be different for different towns too. So
great.
It's nice.
Good. Heck yeah.
But thank you for chatting about it.
Yeah, definitely. We will for sure. I want to check this out when it finally comes out. Sounds cool.
Yeah. I only played for a couple hours because it's like one of those games where like I don't want to get too deep into it because I know I'm gonna want to like
dive in,
explore as much as possible when it's finished.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and we are Easy Allies. We are supported by our viewers, so if you enjoy this, be sure to check out some of our podcasts. We got Frame Trap coming up later today where we talk about a lot of games that we've been playing. And consider supporting us. You can become a patron at patreon.com/easyallies. And that will help us continue to make all these wonderful things. And you can also like and subscribe and ring that bell to get more videos from us. Thank you.